Hi, I'm California State Senator Dave Cortese, and I'm honored to be joining Evergreen Valley College on your 50th anniversary. I probably have enough memories of Evergreen to write a couple of books, but I'll keep it brief here. I first arrived on my family's farm in 1956. That was the year I was born, and the property had just been acquired by my grandfather, Vince Cortese Sr. He was a Sicilian immigrant who came to San Jose in 1910 as a teenager. And a few years later, he married my grandmother, Rose, also of Sicilian descent. And like many immigrants, he didn't have much for most of his life. He was a farm worker, not a farmer. And that started to change in the late Depression years when local bankers gave him a chance to farm more land and eventually buy some of his own. By 1956, while he was turning 60, my grandfather was able to purchase a place called the Lance Ranch, 90 acres right next to where Evergreen Valley College stands today. The property stretched out on both sides of San Felipe Road. My parents moved into an old two-bedroom farmhouse on the prune orchard across the road from what became the Cortese Cherry Orchard, and now Evergreen Valley College's campus. That's where I grew up as a true farm boy, surrounded by chickens, goats, pigeons, horses, cows, calves, beagles, ducks, you name it. The orchards held prunes, apricots, walnuts, and scattered around them were peach, almond, and even locust trees. As kids, we'd pick fruit on neighboring properties, including some land owned by State Senator Thompson, whose large home once stood where Evergreen Valley College is now. Thompson Creek ran so close to our house that it's a small miracle none of us kids tumbled off its steep banks. An old wooden bridge led us across the creek to the west side of the ranch, where a reservoir stored water for irrigating the orchards. Our drinking water came from a well, which was not always the cleanest. My parents had 4 more children over the next 5 years. 7 of us in a 2-bedroom farmhouse made for cozy living. So eventually they built a larger 2-story home across San Felipe Road on the same side of the street where the college is now. But that original old farmhouse holds my most precious memories. By age 6 or 7, I had already joined the ranks of farm workers picking prunes each summer. Kids were expected to pitch in alongside family members and migrant workers. Prunes didn't require ladders, so it was relatively safe, aside from the scorching August heat. When I grew big enough to carry a ladder, I graduated to picking apricots, cherries, and other crops. Evergreen had only one K-8 school back then, Evergreen School. Classes started a week later than urban San Jose schools to give kids like me and migrant farm worker families time to finish the prune harvest. I kept working on the ranch through high school, and even after heading off to UC Davis, I'd still get called back to help, especially with the cattle ranching we ran on the valley floor and in the Mount Hamilton Range, a family tradition my brother Tom continues today. At 14 years old, I took on my first independent job running a 200-acre red oak hay operation on White Road, just 3 miles from where Evergreen Valley College stands today. I drove farm trucks under an agricultural exemption. 2 years before, I was old enough for a license. The hay fed our own livestock and was sold to ranchers in the area. The farm's legacy grew as my grandfather passed the orchards down to his sons. My father, my uncles, who formed a company called Cortese Brothers. And that farm originally produced apricots and prunes, but over time we replaced the apricot trees with Bing cherries. That's when our first fruit stand appeared, a little white roadside shack painted with bright red cherries. But as production grew, Cortese Brothers built a large barn right near what's now the college entrance. And later it expanded into Cortese Brothers Fruit Barn, a place locals still remember fondly. And there were sold fresh cherries, produce, even baked pies, pumpkins, Christmas trees. School children visited on field trips for train rides and other fun. From the 1950s, when my family farmed 1,700 acres across the valley, to today, San Jose has transformed beyond recognition. In just a couple of decades, much of the farmland disappeared under development. And by 1980, most of the valley's agriculture was gone. We kept the Evergreen Cherry Orchard going until 2001, but when the city and water district stopped supplying agricultural water, the trees slowly withered. In 1987, the city of San Jose took the well fields by eminent domain to create an industrial park east of where Evergreen Valley College is. Sadly, that land still sits empty today, and the community lost its orchard and never did get the jobs. I remember asking the city council to preserve 2 rows of cherry trees along San Felipe Road instead of building a sound wall, and they chose the sound wall. Today, that's what you see. Another subdivision, another sound wall, and no sign of the orchard. Still, a few landmarks of old Evergreen remain. The eucalyptus trees, the oaks, Thompson Creek. My old Evergreen school is still there. These may mean little to newcomers, but to me, they're pieces of home. Evergreen Valley College itself has become a treasure for this community. I even took classes here in the summer of 1977 to graduate early from UC Davis. And this beautiful campus honors Evergreen's history. It's built on land that once held orchards. It's right near where John J. Montgomery made historic flights and adjacent to fields where Cesar Chavez once worked before launching the United Farm Workers.